All right, so the Detroit Lions season beginning next month, and I thought I would go over the first 5 games of the season. Week 1 versus Saints. I feel like that is going to be a very easy win. They're coming off a relatively weird season last year where they went 9-8, but they actually were a way better team technically on paper and offense wise. They were led by the quarterback Jared Goff. Obviously, he's been the quarterback since the 2021 season. They were led by him, and he was actually second in touchdowns and second in passing yards. Of course, he was right behind Matthew Stafford, but for most of the season, it was him and Stafford trading the first and second place. Obviously, near the end of the season, the Lions collapsed and lost 4 in a row, which ultimately led to them not being in the playoffs, but they still finished with a positive record, which is more than we can say from the Lions from the last decades and decades of playing. However, week 1 for the Saints, I see them winning 33-22. Now, why do I see that? Well, it's quite simple. The Saints actually are not a bad team, at least theoretically. They have Tyler Shough, who actually looks to be their next franchise quarterback, considering Drew Brees retired a couple years ago, and the team has sort of been in a weird limbo state where they haven't been good, but they haven't been bad either. And I see Jahmyr Gibbs having a field day against the Saints defense, which is not very good. Week 2, Buffalo. Now that's where the problem starts. See, Buffalo is opening their stadium. And Buffalo, the last time they played was in 2024, the Lions of Buffalo. Lions lost the game. Of course, the Lions were decimated out of injuries, and it was still a close game. It was 48-42, which it was literally a one-score game. However, I could see this going either way. I could see the Lions winning this, don't get me wrong, but I also see the Bills winning this pretty easily. It all depends on that Lions defense, which for the last couple years has been a very, very, very bad part of this team. Now, do I see them winning? No. I see them starting season 1-1. I see them losing 33-40. This is where the schedule gets fun. They're playing the Jets, not at Jets home, but at Ford Field. Now, Ford Field is very hard to play, and no one actually wants to talk about it, but the crowds at Ford Field, when they get going, is electric. They've made refs overturn calls on occasion. Of course, the Lions get screwed over by refs a lot, but we won't talk about that in this video. They're going to decimate the Jets. The Jets are competing for the first overall pick. I may do a Jets schedule prediction later, but they're competing for first overall. Okay, they're not good. I see the Lions demolishing the Jets. I see them potentially having a blowout. I see them winning 33-0. That Lions defense is going to destroy Geno. Geno is washed as far as we know. Now, could Geno pull a Mark Sanchez and take him to the AFC Championship team? I highly doubt it, but it could happen. But Geno, if that Raiders rewards last year's anything indication, he's going to be a career backup if he plays anymore. I guarantee possibly he's going to retire. Of course, after this, they're playing the Panthers, which, you know what? Bryce Young, Panthers, 8-9, almost beat the Rams in a wild card game. The Panthers have been an interesting team. They are not good. They are not bad. They are not mediocre. We have no clue what they are. Of course, do I see Lions winning this? Yes. The Lions have a lot more going for them. They have 3-star receivers. They have Pacheco and Gibbs at running back. They have Sam Laporte coming back. Hopefully we have Brian Branch back at this point, because we are 2 weeks in. We're in week 4. We hopefully have Brian Branch back, and we maybe will have Kirby Joseph playing this season. We don't know. We don't know what's going on with him. Hopefully that defense is good, and hopefully they're going to hopefully start 3-1. Of course, after this, they're going into the Cardinals. Oh yeah, by the way, they're probably meeting Panthers 33-20. The Cardinals, they may even go 0-17 this year. The Cardinals have nothing. That Hall of Fame game, that was the last time they're ever going to sniff a win for the next multiple months. I don't see them winning a game this season. Their schedule is brutal start to finish. I don't see how they win any game this year. Their schedule is one of the hardest schedules in the year, and they have one of the worst teams in the league. I see the Lions winning 33 to maybe 3. They get a lucky field goal. Of course, we're heading to the bye week after this, and their Lions starting are 4-1 during going to the bye week, which is a very good record. They are probably competing for top seed in the NFC at this point. Now, of course, you have the Rams, who probably are 5-0 at this point. Maybe Seahawks 5-0. And Seahawks I could see dropping one game. But the Rams could be most likely, definitely are the ones, especially if Aaron Donald comes back. That team is just disgusting. Now we're going to the bye week. And hopefully the Lions, if they see issues, hopefully they do something before the trade deadline. They did nothing last year. They did not address the safety room. They did not address the cornerback room. They did not address the O-line and this free agency. They did nothing. Lions coming out of bye week. We're in week 7. They're coming out of the bye week. They're hopefully rested. Hopefully if Branch isn't back by week 5, hopefully he's back at this point, which would give the defense a very, 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 very good player. He is a ball hawk. He can make grabs that no one cares about. Of course, we're going to the Packers. We are at Ford Field. We are a home game. We are in week 7, home game, Packers. Now, the Lions got swept by the Packers last year. Now, one of them was a little weird. The first game of the season, yeah, Lions were completely lost. They looked like the Lions of the old. Of course, the later game of the year, famously, there was a very weird ref call that was controversial, where there was a false start that should have been called a false start, but it wasn't. Anyway, week 7, Packers, home, Ford Field. I see Lions splitting the series, because that's usually what happens in the division. They usually split with the good teams in the series, unless it's the Bears, who they swept last year. I see them splitting with the Packers and the Vikings. I'll talk about the Vikings when we get to that game, which is right after this. But I see the Lions having a very good game. I see this being a pretty close game. I see the final score being 33-27, with the Lions winning. Some caveats. Now, could the Packers have a collapse like they did last year? Maybe. Could they be 2011 Packers, prime Aaron Rodgers, MVP season level? Maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? I see this being a 33-27 win. I see them narrowly winning. And then they're going into the next game, which is also home game. It's going to be Vikings. Also, again, I see them splitting. I see them winning at home, the 2 home games against the Packers and the Vikings, and the 2 road games against the Packers and the Vikings. I see them losing. Vikings, they're weird. They're a very weird team. They have a very interesting quarterback. Now, he, back in 2019, was in MVP discussions. And then the wheels fell off. Let's be honest. The Cardinals' wheels fell off after that MVP discussion Kyler Murray season, and he hasn't really shown anything. Could that be because he's bad, or could that be because the Cardinals suck? If you refer back to early in the video where I said the Cardinals may go 0-17, yeah, the Cardinals suck. Could he bring the Vikings back to Sam Darnold 2014 level, where they're contending for the 1 seed? Maybe. I mean, they have Jefferson and they have everyone else on that team. The roster hasn't really changed since that 2024 season run. Just depends on how good he is. Of course, I see the Lions winning this game. As I said before, they're probably going to split. And I see them winning 41-27 and a surprise blowout. At this point, the Cardinals probably, maybe, hopefully, they have him starting. I hope McCarthy isn't starting, because he is awful. Maybe they start him to start the season, hoping he can do something, and then they just, switch it over to him. Of course, after this, they go on the Dolphins. Dolphins may also be another team that goes 0-17 because they are god-awful, and they sold up every single player except HN. Of course, the Dolphins are going to lose this game. The Lions may even have their backups playing, and they still win. Of course, I see this being a very quick, easy win. It's, of course, on the road at Dolphins Stadium, but it doesn't really matter because they're awful, and you could probably beat them with your backups. This is a very quick game. I'm just getting through it to go into the next 3 games, which are very, very terrible to play. Of course, I see them winning 33-7. Okay, now we get into the hard part of the season. Weeks 10 and onward is when the season actually gets difficult. Week 10 is Germany, which is classified as a home game, which I hate it, against the Patriots. Now, are the Patriots good? Yes. Are they bad? Also, yes. Did they make it to the Super Bowl last year? Yes. How did they do it? Sheer luck. Of course, Drake May, is he a bad quarterback? No. Is the Patriot a bad team? No. Is their defense atrocious? No. Is that O-line going to get him killed? Possibly. I don't know where this game is going to go. I've gone back and forth since the schedule came out a couple months ago. I've gone back and forth. Are they going to win this? Maybe. Are they going to lose this? Maybe. Are they going to win or lose? Could they even tie? Possibility. But I'm going to say they lose this game. And there's a reason for that. They're at home. It's considered a home game for them, which is awful. And it means that one other game gets taken away from a home game for them. One other game that should be a home game, but I'm not going to get into that. They lose this game, and it's going to be a very close game, 33-30. I say it's going to lose by a field goal. Then we get into the Buccaneers. Oh, the Buccaneers. I don't know how to consider this team. Are they good? Are they bad? I don't know. Could they be good like they were last year at the start of the season? Maybe. Could we have MVP Baker? Maybe. He was an MVP candidate before the wheels fell off. Could he be that again? Maybe. Of course, I see them winning this game. Now, how do they win this? I say it's going to be a very low scoring. I say they win by like 20-17. Of course, here's where the issue happens. They're playing the Bears at home on Thanksgiving. It's a Thursday game. They had a short week. They only had a 4-day rest period before this game, which is terrible for a team. That Wednesday game, not even a Wednesday game, that Thursday game for the Buccaneers should have been on a Thursday. They should have had a short week between the Patriots and Buccaneers. But they're doing Bears at home, Ford Field, Thanksgiving. Are the Bears going to be good this year? We don't know. Could they be good? Yes. Could they fall off? Yes. Could they have a sophomore slump? Definitely. That's happened a lot. I'm really weird with the schedule. Because on the one hand, you have the Bears who last year had an insane season. They improved from 5-12 to 1 seed in the division. Not 1 seed in the league, but the first overall in the division, to getting to the divisional game, to losing to the Rams. They obviously beat the Packers in an insane way. They almost beat the Rams in an insane way as well. But the Bears are a weird team because most of their wins were from fourth quarter drives that somehow gave them a win. They lost games that they should have won. They won games that they should have lost. Do I see them winning this? Yes. They have Ben Johnson's phone number. They swept them last year by a ton of points. And I see them losing this. The Bears losing this. I see them Lions winning 33-22. You notice I pitch around the 30 a lot for the Lions because that's generally where they score when the operation of the offense is very much at its peak. However, we have a very fun team. Talking good, are they bad? Who really knows? Are they a good team? No. Are they a bad team? No. They're sort of like the Panthers, where they're a very good team on paper, but unlike the Panthers, they have Tua turn the ball over as their quarterback. And if he does Tua things, they're going to lead the league in interceptions, potentially even. But the Lions, I see them getting a very easy win. It's obviously on the road. I see them getting a very easy win against this team. I see it being a 22-14 win. Why so low? Because I see the Falcons aren't terrible. I see them getting 2 sneaky touchdowns, but I see the Lions offense being able to get past that Falcons defense, which is not the best. Of course, very next week is home game, Titans, and I feel bad for Cam Ward because he is an amazing quarterback, and he was very sneaky last year as a very rookie of the year candidate. But he's stuck on the Titans. They're not good. I like what they're doing, but they're just not that good. And I see the Lions just curse on them. I see this being a 50-point game because that Titans defense is just awful. I see this being a 50-3 game. I am serious. That is going to be a complete decimation. Then they do Vikings, which they're going to split. They're splitting with the Vikings. They split with the Packers. They're going to split with the Vikings. They're going to sweep the Bears. That's usually what has happened, generally, the last couple seasons. This is going to be an easy game, but it's also going to be a very difficult game because they're going to obviously split. But what is the final score going to be? I see it being 30 for the Lions and 34 for the Vikings. If the Vikings are performing well, could the Vikings be terrible and the Lions sue them? Definitely. But right now, my predictions are they get a very much a tie. You know, one for one for the other. And then Giants at home. Now, this is going to be a fun game because the Giants are terrible.